5:30 a.m. It's still dark outside. My 13-year-old son is sleeping deeply in his bed. I turn on the light and wake him up. I do it quickly, almost abruptly, because I know the longer I hesitate, the harder it becomes. It sounds harsh, but many parents will recognize this. And every morning I ask myself the same question: how can I knowingly do this to my own child? The reason is that I study sleep. I know for a fact that my son isn't getting the sleep that is critically important for a teenager whose body is actively developing. I also know that by waking him several hours earlier than his natural biological rhythm, I am essentially depriving him of the most valuable stage of sleep, the one responsible for learning, memory, and emotional stability. And this isn't just about my child. Chronic sleep deprivation among teenagers is a widespread problem. Only about 1 in 10 teenagers gets the recommended 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night. And the main reason isn't phones or laziness. It's the system. In many schools, classes start around 7:30 a.m. or even earlier, despite the fact that medical organizations insist that middle and high schools should not start before 8:30. These early start times force teenagers to go against their own biology every single day. During puberty, the biological clock shifts. Teenagers are physiologically wired to fall asleep later and wake up later. The reason is a change in melatonin production. In teenagers, this hormone begins to be released actively around 11 p.m., about 2 hours later than in adults. That's why waking up at 6 a.m. for a teenager is biologically equivalent to waking up at 4 a.m. for an adult. When I have to wake up at 4 a.m., I feel exhausted, can't think clearly, get irritated easily, and definitely shouldn't be driving. That's exactly how millions of teenagers feel every day at school. Many traits we usually blame on difficult teenage behavior, mood swings, aggression, apathy, depressive states are often the result of chronic sleep deprivation. To get through the day, teenagers consume massive amounts of caffeine, coffee, energy drinks, stimulants. They live in a constant state of exhaustion, artificially forcing themselves to stay alert. And yet adolescence is the period when the brain develops most rapidly, especially the areas responsible for self-control, logic, and decision-making. These regions help regulate impulsive and risky behavior, and they're among the first to suffer from lack of sleep. Sleep deprivation leads to poor concentration, reduced attention, and even symptoms that resemble ADHD. But the consequences go far beyond the classroom. They directly affect mental health. Studies have shown that teenagers with sleep problems are significantly more likely to use alcohol, and that each hour of lost sleep sharply increases feelings of hopelessness and the risk of suicidal thoughts. The risk of serious physical health problems also rises, including obesity, heart disease, and diabetes. Driving is another major danger. A sleep-deprived teenager behind the wheel is nearly equivalent to a driver under the influence of alcohol. And yet the evidence is clear. When schools start later, everything changes. Teenagers sleep more. Absenteeism drops. Academic performance improves. Mental and physical health get better. And traffic accidents decrease. Yes, these changes require adjustments to transportation, schedules, and logistics. But that is not a valid excuse to sacrifice children's health. Starting middle and high school no earlier than 8:30 a.m. is not a luxury. It's a decision grounded in science, safety, and care for the future.